going on YouTube? This is Shok. Sorry you guys still deal with all this terrible lighting. Eventually I'm going to go to Walmart and buy a white light bulb because this is just too yellow and too dim. But stick with me, I'll be fixing it soon. But in this video guys, I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be ranting. I'm going to be calm, cool, and collected. And this video is pretty much going to be a state of Nintendo address. And that's not to say, you know, oh, I, Shokio, am the official face of Nintendo fans. You know, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this is pretty much going to be a all-around, in general, everything combined, grouped up, and massed into one video to direct toward Nintendo. This video is for Nintendo. You see what I'm saying? And so this video might be really long, so I apologize in advance if this video is 20 minutes long. But watch it all, because I promise you it will be worth it. And to you Nintendo fans that, you know, I pretty much call and consider apologists, those of you who don't like me, hear me out in this video. I'm not going to be ranting, okay? I'm going to be calm. I'm going to make very cut clear points that I'm sure that even you guys can agree with. But let's get started. To Nintendo. Nintendo. Yes, one of the reasons why as a Nintendo fan I've been frustrated with you guys is because you've been making so many fumbles that in our eyes could have been easily avoided. Doesn't make any sense, right? But the main reason why I've been so frustrated with Nintendo is because you guys have so much untapped potential. So much. You guys have the power to dominate. You guys could take the gaming industry by storm wherever you want to if you just stop being so stubborn. And it's as simple as that. Nintendo, you've been here on this earth since 1889, if I got that date correctly, right? You are over 100 years old and you are the oldest remaining console manufacturer in the industry. You have been around longer than Sony and Microsoft, and you've been around as a business, period, longer than these guys. Over 100 years. You also have the greatest gaming franchises in history. When you think of name the best game ever, bam, you automatically go to Nintendo games, right? You automatically think Ocarina of Time. You already think Super Mario World. You know, you go back to those older Nintendo games, and even with modern games such as Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, highest rated exclusives of last generation, of the 7th gen. Matter of fact, Eurogamer just named Mario Galaxy as their best game of the generation, right? So it hasn't even stopped. You keep on making the highest critically acclaimed games of all time. You also have the most, of course, highly recognizable franchises, and you also have the highest selling franchises. So Nintendo, your games, off the wall. You got that down. But see, that's what frustrates me, right? Because you have the most experience in the gaming industry than any of these people. You've been around longer, in general, longer than these people. And you have better games that sell more. You have more gaming expertise. You are solely a video game company, Nintendo. So why, after all these years, after all these experience, after having the most notable, reputable, critically acclaimed, highest selling franchises, games, IPs, characters of all time, why are you struggling so hard? You see what I'm saying? Because you're not tapping in to your potential. Now in this video, I'm going to break it down point by point by point, and I'm going to be explaining to you the potential you are not tapping into and some things that are simply wrong with the way you guys are going about carrying yourselves. Now I know a lot of you guys are going to say, what do you know? You're just this 20-year-old black kid who lives in Texas. You don't know about the business. Guys, yes, that's true. You have a point. But I assure you, I know damn well that I could sell more than 900K units of a Nintendo system in 9 months. The first thing you guys gotta do to tap into your potential is utilize the tools you set for yourselves. You see what I'm saying? Utilize your own tools. For instance, the gamepad. Now, one of the main gripes I had with Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and 3D World when those games were first revealed was not only the fact that I was disappointed that 3D World wasn't the Mario I wanted, although now it looks great. I'm talking about my initial impressions from that first trailer. And then I was disappointed that Retro Secret Sauce game was yet another Donkey Kong that we just got not too long ago. I was wanting it to be a, you know, a Metroid or a new IP. Another reason why I was mad at those games was because they don't really even use the gamepad like that. You see what I mean? Now, before the Wii U launch at, at the E3 2011 conference, right? Nintendo showed, hey, you can play games without using the TV, and then they showed all these other things you can do with the gamepad, all these new gameplay ideas, asymmetrical gameplay. Nintendo drove that hard, right? Asymmetrical. That's what Nintendo Land was all about, showing off the asymmetrical gameplay, right? Two people playing the same game, same atmosphere, but they have their own perspectives, their own screens, their point of views, with their own different play styles with those point of views. You see what I mean? But once Nintendo Land and Zombie U came and left, really hasn't been anything else. You see what I'm saying? Nintendo, how are you going to spend money on the gamepad invested, put it into your system, and not even really utilize it that heavily? Now, yes, I understand that, off TV play is the main, selling point of the Wii U gamepad, but it is not the selling point, it's not the only selling point. Like I said, Nintendo themselves showed all those concepts and stuff, asymmetrical gameplay, yet they are not utilizing it for their own games. And they did the same with Wiimote. How many games use Wii Motion Plus? Exactly. How many games use Wii Speak? How many games actually use the balance board? You can count all those games on your fingers. So Nintendo, start leading the third parties, lead by example, and start utilizing your tools. Another thing I mean by this is the fact that you put 1 GB of RAM in that system dedicated to the operating system. Yet there's no multitasking. There's no multitasking. Before the system came out, right, I was like, okay, so this system has 1 GB of RAM dedicated to operating systems and the background tasks and stuff, right? That is double the amount of RAM for the whole entire RAM pool that the PS3 and 360 has. So wow, they're going to be doing a lot of stuff with the OS and the multitasking. And they have 2 screens. So with 2 screens, a whole gig dedicated to the operating system, I'm expecting some multitasking beast. Yet the system comes out and there's nothing. There's no multitasking to be done whatsoever. I don't understand that. That's what I mean by utilize your tools. Next thing I want to talk about, this kind of ties in with this, is standards. And I understand, Nintendo, you have this thing about you want to be unique, you don't want to follow the competition. I'm with you 100%. That's why I love you guys so much, because you don't want to make 3 triplet consoles. You know what I'm saying? We don't need 3 consoles that do exactly the same thing and play exactly the same games, right? I'm glad you guys understand that, so you want to be different. But that does not mean you resist everything that the competition is doing. Some things are good for you, and some things in gamers' minds these days are just held as industry standards. I guess what I'm trying to say is you guys need to modernize a little bit, and I guess that kind of also ties in with westernizing, because it's really the West, Microsoft, who started all these online and features push, and everything, all that stuff. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, Nintendo fans, I'm not one of those guys who's saying like, oh, Nintendo needs to drop Mario and they need to turn Zelda into God of War and make it bloody. No, Nintendo, your games, pinpoint, they're fine, right? Your games are perfect. Leave your games the way they are. Just add to them, enhance them, and add to your system and enhance your system with some of the modern things going on nowadays. You see what I mean? For instance, Nintendo, you always talk about how, you want to be unique from the competition, whatever. I understand that, but that doesn't mean you resist to putting cross-game chat in. That's only going to hurt you, and nobody's going to call you a copycat for doing cross-game chat. Nobody's calling Sony a copycat for doing it. If Sony is the #1 company, people point their finger to for copycatting. Basically what I'm saying is, Nintendo, when you try to be so unique to the point where it hinders us, that's when you need to draw it back a little bit. You see what I mean? Scale it back a little bit. You don't want to do on-screen notifications like Sony and Microsoft, so you give us a blinking light on our controller. Something we're not looking at. We're looking at the screen when we're playing, so we can't see that flashing light. And when the times we do see the flashing light, we can't tell what that flashing light is really indicating. Did somebody just come online? Did somebody just send me a message? Is that a Wii U chat? I don't know, because it's just a blue light. You see what I mean? So Nintendo, you need to give us the option for on-screen notifications. You can still put your own unique spin on it. Make it to where it's not just so-and-so logged on, or so-and-so do this and that. Do, for instance, I don't know, like have a circular picture of our friend's me and have a color outline of that picture, and the colors indicate what that is. It's as simple as that. So you have on-screen notifications, but you're still doing it in a unique Nintendo way. For instance, if my girlfriend logs onto her Wii U, I see her me, and there's like an orange circle over it. Orange circle means she's Wii U chatting me, right? Blue circle means she just got online. Red circle means she just got offline. See what I'm saying? Simple as that. So Nintendo, I understand about your whole Yamauchi's philosophy, and I agree with it 100%. But don't try to be so unique and resistant to modernization and what the competition is doing, to the point where it hurts you, Nintendo. You're not going to devalue yourself. You're not going to demoralize yourself because you add in a couple of features that the opposing systems have. As long as you still have your unique features, unique to Nintendo, you're good. Production. Anuma has said this himself. You guys are too slow when it comes to producing things. Now, I'm a very patient gamer. I'm a Nintendo gamer. I have to be patient. But it's getting to the point of just absolute frustration, because it's been delay after delay after delay after delay. And it's not just with the games, but it is also even with software, with firmware. You see what I mean? It's like even your firmware teams are understaffed, which I just absolutely don't understand. Like I said earlier, where are you putting that 1 GB of RAM to use? Now I know what you guys are gonna say. It's still a new system, yada yada. I was with you guys, right? When everybody was talking, when the Wii U launched, first 5 months or whatever, when people would say, where's the cross game chat? Where's this? Where's that? Where's that? Hey, I was there. I was like, hey guys, the system's been out for like 5-6 months. Give it some time. Nintendo has a brand new network, so they had to build these tools from the ground up because they have no foundation, so it's going to take them a while. But now essentially it's been a year and there really hasn't been anything feature-wise. And like I've said in previous videos, there are features not present on the Wii U that even the Wii and the 3DS has. Excuse me. That doesn't make any sense. Why would your last-gen system and your handheld have more features than your next generation console? Why does the Wii have conference chat, but not the Wii U? Why does the 3DS have folders, but not the Wii U? Why does the 3DS have the join game option, but not the Wii U? And I know the join game option wasn't on the 3DS at launch, but it was put in there within the first year. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was put in when around the time Mario Kart 7 came out. So it's been longer than that now. We still don't have the join game option. I mean, you would think that whatever you got on your handheld and previous system would become at least standard for Nintendo themselves, but Nintendo doesn't even hold their own system to their own standards. You see what I'm saying? You would think the software and features held by the Wii and 3DS would be in the Wii U, but for some strange reason, they're not. With the games, I don't really have to say much. I understand you guys, polish the mess out of your games, but you really gotta start producing them faster, because that's one of the main reasons why you have software droughts. Now, I remember before the Wii U launched, you talked about how you were going to get all these third-party developers to fill in the gaps between your droughts, but didn't work out the way you wanted to. You don't have all those third-party games now, so now you really gotta be pumping out those games, Nintendo. You see what I mean? And understand, guys, I'm not telling Nintendo to rush their games. I understand Nintendo is very, that they have really good quality assurance, right? They don't put something out unless it is polished, completely done, right? They're not Bethesda. But what you do is simply hire more people. If you hire more people, you can get the same amount of quality, if not more, in a shorter amount of time. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze should not be taking over 3 years for a team such as Retro Studios. It shouldn't. Retro Studios should have twice the team size that they have now, Nintendo. And you're very short-sighted on not increasing the size of your bigger Nintendo teams. The Last of Us just came out this year, but you know what? The whole time The Last of Us was being produced, Naughty Dog has a second team that's been working on their PS4 game. So it's not going to take PS4 owners 3 years to have the next Naughty Dog experience. You should have, and that kind of goes into being short-sighted and not understanding that HD development would cost a lot more and take a lot longer than standard def. I don't see how you did prepare for that. That's another short-sighted thing. That's another thing. You guys don't really seem to think ahead or think into the future. Next thing, Nintendo, be more involved. Part of the reason why, and a lot of the hate you guys get is very unwarranted, but part of the legitimate hate or whatever, or discontent toward you guys, is the fact that you guys are very uninvolved. And by that I mean, like, you guys don't really necessarily talk directly to your fans. You guys don't really say, you don't really talk to these sites like Sony and Microsoft does. You know, like for instance, Jeff Keighley would be like, Microsoft told me about this great game, this great exclusive coming out. I'm going to have the world premiere on game trailers, you know, stuff like that. And he'll do the same thing for Sony, right? You guys aren't very involved with these sites. You guys don't hype up your own games or projects through these sites, which I don't really understand. And you're not very involved with your fans. For instance, I could go hit up Yoshida right now on Twitter and he might actually respond to me. You see what I mean? But if I go send a tweet to Reggie or Iwata, I'm not going to get a response. You see what I mean? Sony is very open with their fans. So fans can speak directly to the Sony reps. But you guys aren't very open at all. And if you guys caught my my Smash petition video, it kind of ties in with that too. How, like, if you see a bunch of passionate gamers going ham, pushing hard for your game, then by all means, Nintendo, you should get behind them, or at least do everything in your power not to hinder them. You see what I mean? Be more involved with your fans, be more involved with your community, and then be more involved with the industry, period. There's a lot of events you don't go to, right? There's a lot of, you know, press stuff that you guys don't do, that you don't go to, that are missed opportunities to advertise and hype your system and your games. You see what I mean? Be more involved. Don't be so, you know, kind of just off to the side by your guys' selves. Third parties. I understand third parties are knuckleheads, and a lot of them just straight up do not like you guys. So you know what you need to do, Nintendo, to get that, to finally get that third party support? What you need to do is leave them absolutely no excuses at all. That way, they can't make excuses, so they have to put the games on there. You see what I mean? So that means when your next generation system comes out, make sure you have 2 to 3 games within the first like 4 months, like launch window, right? If it's going to launch in November to March, whatever. Have 2 or 3, not even 2 or 3, have 3 to 4 like big hitter Nintendo titles. I'm not saying Metroid, Mario, and Zelda, but have, like, you know, let's say a Smash, an F-Zero, and another Pikmin or something like that. See what I'm saying? One big franchise and then 2 smaller, yet still very notable ones. See what I'm saying? Have things in there that firstly drive up the install base. Nintendo, when you go about making the specs for your next system, make sure you go around to all the third-party developers and you take, and I know you like making cheap and affordable hardware, so listen to what I'm about to say right here. Take the lowest common denominator. Take the minimum of what the developers say. Because as long as you stay within anywhere in that range, whether it's medium, maximum, or minimum, if you take the minimum of what they say, they will still gladly port their games over to your system as long as you have that install base. So Nintendo, if you want the third-party support, what you gotta do, don't money hat, because like you guys, Iwata said himself, I agree with him. Once you start money hatting all over the place, more developers are going to be expecting money for them to port their game over to your system. So understand that. All I'm saying is with your next system, make sure there is no excuse in the world they can make to not bring their games over to your system. Another thing I kind of talked about it before is you guys, and it kind of ties in with the whole standards and everything, but Nintendo, you really have to embrace online. I'm sorry, I know a lot of you guys are tired of me of saying this, you're tired of hearing this from me, but Nintendo really has to embrace online. I am scared, I'm really scared that Smash Bros may not have voice chat. Like, I really am. I'm scared that Mario Kart may not have voice chat, right? Because those are very competitive games, especially Smash. And those are games that, as gamers, we talk a lot of trash in, you know? Especially if we make a comeback or we're winning or whatever, we have to talk smack to each other, Nintendo. We're gamers. That's what we do when we're playing a game together. But as ECC said in Active Life Gamer, said in his video, it's sad that we have to beg the biggest video game developer and oldest in the world, we have to beg them to put voice chat in their games in 2013. If anything, Nintendo, because of how old you are and because of how much experience you have, you should be the ones ahead of the curve. And I think part of the problem is with Iwata, he's Japanese. He has a very just narrow-minded Japanese mindset, in the sense that, and Miyamoto for that matter, I think the reason why a lot of these games don't have online multiplayer is because they live in Japan, and you guys know in Japan everybody lives close together, right? They're all on top of each other, they live close by. And they don't look at the rest of the world, they don't look at the West. We're not like that, Nintendo. We're not walking in the streets where you can't move an inch without bumping into somebody. That only exists in New York, really, right? But the West needs online because we're spread farther apart than you guys are out in Japan. And then with our online games, we need these standard online features. We need the voice chat. We need the invites. We need the options. Just things of that nature. We need it, Nintendo. It's standard. It's not copying the competition. It's evolving. It's accepting standards. All it is improving upon yourself. Like I said, don't try to be so unique and different to the point where it hurts you, because that is going to be your downfall. And the same goes for your hardware too. The Wii remote was great, and the gamepad is amazing. I love the fact I don't need a TV to play my games. I'm a lazy fool, so I like playing my games in my bed, right? I love the fact that I could do that with a console game. But what I'm saying is that I think the whole not making your hardware as powerful as the competitors, I think that has to tie in with the GameCube in the N64 era, where you guys got your butts whooped by Sony, and you guys are blaming that on the fact that you went for the powerful hardware. That wasn't it at all. That wasn't it. You did not lose to the PS1 and the PS2 because you went for powerful hardware. The reason why you lost is because you used cartridges instead of CDs with the N64 and the PS1. That's the sole reason why you won. I mean, you lost. Because Nintendo, if you guys had the CDs and the PS1 had the cartridges, so Sony would not be at the point they're at today. You see what I'm saying? Because the N64 marked the official turning point where third parties started to turn their back on Nintendo, because cartridges were more expensive to develop for than CDs, and they were too limiting because of the file sizes they could hold. And then with the GameCube, it's kind of the same thing. You use mini DVDs instead of regular DVDs, so that hindered a lot of your third-party support and developers making games for you. And then also, part of the reason why the GameCube didn't succeed over the PS2 is of course because the success that carried over from the PS1 to the PS2. So developers were like, well, there's really no point in going back to Nintendo if we have an established base of 100 million PS1 owners who are going to buy PS2s, so let's just do PS2. So that's why you lost, Nintendo. Because I noticed you do the N64, you say, oh, maybe it was a fluke. GameCube, okay, obviously the stronger hardware is killing us, so then let's make the Wii, let's not even hop into HD, make a more weaker system, because obviously the stronger hardware isn't what made us lose. No, the stronger hardware didn't make you guys lose. It was the bad decisions you guys made, considering your media formats, that made you lose those generations. So, now that that's all the way, I hope this video isn't too long. Hopefully I covered everything. I know there's going to be some things I want to say in this video that I did not say. But Nintendo, if you have, let's say you have the online, right? And you have the third-party support. Let's say you have just as good third-party support as Sony and Microsoft, and you have an online network that is roughly in the same ballpark as the competition. If you had those two things, Nintendo, alongside your amazing quality, highest rated, highest selling games, Nintendo, you would freaking dominate. You would dominate. And the most frustrating thing is that to carry out this dominance, it's simple things. Simple things. So gotta do the rest of this with my commentary because my camera actually ran out of space because this video was so dang long. But like I was saying, guys, none of this is rocket science. These are simple things. And Nintendo has the capability to get these things done. Really, what all it boils down to is the reason why they're not doing these things is stubbornness. It's as simple as that. They simply don't want to do it. How hard could it be to prep some system sellers at launch, to make sure there's no droughts, to properly advertise a system, to have at minimum all the features you had in your last consoles carried over to your next console? How hard and complicated are those things? Not hard at all. It's stubbornness, it's narrow-mindedness, and it's short-sightedness. Plain and simple. That's for this video, y'all. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'll see you guys later. Peace.